Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about the two first episodes of Season 2 of a show that's probably going to end up being one of my all-time favorites, Mr. Robot. Watch out for minor spoilers in this video. It's just the beginning of the season, so there isn't too much to spoil just yet. I do hope that you watched Season 1 before watching this video, though. Mr. Robot is sort of a story within a story. You have this large-scale story about the aftermath of the F Society hack from Season 1 that pretty much wiped out all credit records and is now just ravaging the economy. Within that massive story, you have a much more personal story about Elliot and his mental illness and how he deals with it. Out of these two stories, the one that's more interesting to me is definitely Elliot. Now in Season 2, Elliot has a fully fleshed out relationship with the part of him represented by Mr. Robot, who has the appearance of Elliot's dad, who has the appearance of Christian Slater. After everything that went down with the hack, Elliot moves in with his mom and tries to live an analog life of repetition in order to regain control. He also keeps a meticulous log of everything he does and even everything he thinks because he wants to be able to account for everything because he doesn't trust himself or he doesn't trust the part of himself that is Mr. Robot. So there's the very obvious comparison here with Fight Club, right? We have Mr. Robot and Tyler Durden, and the goal of F Society not being all that different from what Project Mayhem does. I know it's different in the book. We're all very proud of you for having read it. You don't have to it's okay. And the only reason I even mention this is because people seem compelled to mention this all the time, everywhere, as if it makes the show any less good. But isn't almost any story like another story in a certain way? And I think that Mr. Robot has enough going for it to be good on its own right. So the next time you're talking to a friend about Mr. Robot and they tell you that it's so predictable because I've already watched/read Fight Club, just tell them that, shh, it's fine, we're proud of you, you're so clever. Fight Club is great. Mr. Robot is also great. Just enjoy it. Shh, go subscribe to Binge Watchers. Anyway, the relationship between Elliot and Mr. Robot is essentially about Elliot wanting to be good or wanting to be better. He knows how much damage he can do with a terminal, so he wants to get away from it. But that other part of Elliot, Mr. Robot, believes that there is still work to be done. Our revolution needs a leader. Because if you remember back to Season 1, Elliot does believe in those things. He does believe in the things that led up to the hack. And Mr. Robot is the embodiment of those beliefs, while Elliot himself, or, the actual Elliot, maybe doesn't want to go as far. But who is the actual Elliot? Whoa! And we get to that point where Mr. Robot shoots Elliot in the head. And when they talk about it, we understand that that is something that happens on a regular basis. And then Mr. Robot has this line that is something along the lines of, how many times do I have to shoot you in the head to get it through that thick skull of yours? And that was just so brilliant. The perfect metaphor for violently trying to convince yourself of something. He's literally trying to get it through his head. So good. So good. So good. So good. So Elliot finds out that he does have gaps that he can't account for. Sleep. He finds out that he can't control Mr. Robot while he's asleep, which is terrifying. So there is one thing that we need to talk about that is a major spoiler. So if you've made it this far in the video and you have not watched episode 2 of Season 2 of Mr. Robot, stop watching now and please go watch another Binge Watchers video. So one of the major themes in Mr. Robot is the emptiness of people's actions. Elliot is trying to mimic everyday life, and for him that's just pointlessly repeating things, and it gives him sort of a simple comfort, which I guess it does. So it only makes sense that the guy that murders Gideon by shooting him in the neck doesn't do it because he really thinks that Gideon is to blame for the hack. He knows he's a scapegoat. He does it because in his own sick and twisted mind, he thinks that it will bring him fame. He'll be some sort of a hero. It's twisted and it's sad, and while Mr. Robot is generally not a super realistic show, a lot of it is almost dreamlike, that sentiment rings painfully true. So what about you? Have you started watching season 2 of Mr. Robot? What do you think about it so far, and where do you think this season is going? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. And if you're finding binge watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to binge watch, subscribe to the channel, keep binging, and yeah, I'm not gonna reshoot that. I'm just gonna leave that like that. Yeah, see you next time.